Hello, and welcome to my Modlist showcase, where I give an overview and opinion on mod lists to help find the right one for you. This time, we are looking at the ANIMONCULORY Visual Overhaul, a mod list by AVO, released for Skyrim Special Edition, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The version I've been playing on is version 1.4.1, released on the 8th of May 2022. You can check on the list Discord linked below for any changes and updates. Firstly, what is the ANIMONCULORY Visual Overhaul? The description reads, "This overhaul is designed as a base for your own mod list, featuring graphical enhancements, mandatory bug fixes, tweaks, and method patching, making it a perfect base to build upon." Before diving in, it's worth noting that this video will focus more on the graphics than my other showcases, as the point of this list is to provide a stable graphical base, where you can add on your own gameplay changes, items, quests, and so on. This visual overhaul is available to download from the Wabberjack Modlist installer. While I won't cover the specifics of the installation in this video, the installation was quick and easy, with a clear page of instructions provided. For help with the download, you can follow along with my Wabberjack explanation guide video on my channel and linked below. With over 450 mods, you'll need about 100 GB of storage to download, and once in game, all of the mod menus are already configured, so you just click play and get to it. Now for what the mod list adds. Again, I'll mainly be talking about the list's graphics, although I will cover a few gameplay changes and add-ons. The install guide comes with recommended system requirements for 1080 and 1440p, which you can see here. When it comes to performance compared to how good it looks, this list is easily one of the best, as it ran at a consistently locked 72 FPS, and would even go above 100 when unlocked. My specs are here on screen, which I know are high end, but running at 1440p ultra-wide usually tanks Skyrim's performance. Also, just from playing Skyrim mod lists every month, this is easily one of the best looking lists that manages to keep an impressive performance. As for how stable this list is, it includes all of the fixes needed to make the engine run better and remove most of Bethesda's bugs. There's just a lot of things like fixes for AI, stuttering, broken quests and so on, which don't sound fancy to talk about, but they all add up to create an incredibly polished experience. All this just means that if you want to mould it into your own personalised mod list, all of the more boring and tedious preparation stuff is out of the way. This list has a great balance of overhauling many textures and models, while still keeping to the vanilla feel. Septentrional Landscapes is one of the best texture mods out there, adding incredibly detailed ground textures to the exterior landscape. And many other mods are added on top of this, such as Hyperborean Snow and Northern Ice, which create highly detailed looks to snow and make glaciers appear stunningly realistic. To go along with the new textures are some great new model trees, with mods like Happy Little Trees and Enhanced Landscapes providing updated looks to their vanilla version. And the same goes for grass and shrubbery, with mods such as Realistic Grass Field and Flora Mod Collection, adding a variety to Skyrim's vegetation, and it really makes the forests feel real and overgrown. Then there's the caves and dungeons, with Norfire's Dungeons, Ruins Clutter Improved, Skyland Nordic Ruins, and many more mods, all adding to the creepy abandoned feeling of underground areas, all of which pairing nicely with the new lighting. As for the towns and cities, Skyland Towns and Villages provides updated textures to all small settlements, and large individual mods target each city. For example, the Skyland mods provide new detailed looks for many of the major locations. Then taking things further are mods like Illustrious Whiterun, which overhauls the city's looks, without compromising the original designs. Finally, I just wanted to mention this list's LODs, as they can often be forgotten. If you don't know what LODs are, basically, whenever you're far away from something, like a building or a tree, you'll notice that they look flat with low detail. That's an LOD, and they're used to save performance in-game. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this list's LODs are something I notice almost immediately. Distant forests and cities all look natural, making it great to stand on a mountain and look over Skyrim. The overall lighting just adds to the realism, with natural looking daytimes, dark night skies, and interiors which are appropriately lit by light sources. Enhanced volumetric lighting and shadows improves the atmosphere of Skyrim by synchronizing the light with the sun and moon. This is then paired with mods like ENB Light and Lux, which improve light sources to provide more natural effects. And it's worth noting that when in caves and dungeons, you'll probably want to bring a torch, but it's not completely pitch black like some other lists. When it comes to weather, the list notes that you can add whichever weather mods you like, as everyone has a different preference for which they prefer. But if you want to play the list as is, there's still improvements to weather, such as better night skies, new cloud textures, and the mod weathers for ENB, which tweak all of the existing weathers to have better colours, fog, lighting, and so on. And speaking of ENBs, the list uses Nordic Serenity ENB, which is what's been used in the footage for this video. I think it works great for this list, but if you want, you can freely swap it out for any other of your choosing. And doing this is easier than ever, as an included ENB manager means you can switch on and off any ENB of your choosing. No new items or spells have been included, again, so you can pick and choose which you personally prefer. However, Skyrim's existing weapons and armours have all been tweaked, providing new textures and slight model changes. Mods such as Modular Armoury and Rustic Clothing improve the detail and fitting of every wearable item while keeping to their vanilla looks. And the same goes for weapons, where again, Modular Armoury provides higher resolution textures, plus the Better Shaped Weapons mod makes subtle tweaks to weapon shapes and sizes to make them look more real and unique. For spells, Deadly Spell Impacts add better looking spell effects to the world around you, and mods like Voltage make spells look more visually interesting in your hand. So as said at the start, this list is a visual overhaul, which creates a base canvas for you to put gameplay changes into, although there are a couple of notable changes, such as the optional Quick Start mod, which allows you to skip Skyrim's intro if you so wish. Plus the UI has been improved, with mods like Sky UI and Dear Diary modernising the user interface to display more information and offering a classic RPG vibe. But overall, the gameplay has barely been touched outside of bug fixes and patches, giving you the choice to keep Skyrim vanilla or make it your own. For some other notable changes, NPC animations have been updated to feel more natural and appear less robotic, plus they'll greet you less often as you walk by. Also, the NPCs' looks have been improved, with new face and skin textures to provide higher quality versions of their vanilla looks. And going along with this, race menu has been added, which allows for better customization of your character. Now for some additions to the list, but first I must stress, any changes you make to the list has nothing to do with the Modlist author. You should only do so if you have an understanding of modding and accept that any consequences are yours to deal with. Now, this is a unique case compared to my other lists, as there's not a specific theme to go with. Usually, when you want to heavily mod Skyrim, you have to start with all the fixes, which can be tedious. Then you move on to graphics, which can take forever to pick and choose out of the thousands of mods there are. But with this list, all of that is covered. Once you have it installed, it's up to you for how you want to change your Skyrim. You can add new perk mods, new items, new quests, whatever you'd like. Although of course, you'll still need to know the fundamentals of modding, and understand that mods may conflict and so on. When it comes to changing up the look of the list, it's fine to swap out the ENB and weather mods, but things become a lot more tricky when it comes to changing textures and such. It's likely that you won't even feel the need to, but if you do want to swap out texture mods, you'll need to know what you're doing, as not to cause conflicts, and mess up the LODs and such. There's also the matter of Creation Club content, and basically, this list uses the latest version of Skyrim, so the content is technically compatible. However, it's not officially supported with this list, so if you choose to add anything from the Creation Club, it's up to you to deal with any possible conflicts. And as a final note, this is the first list I've played where ultra-wide works flawlessly out of the box, which just made for such a nice change for me. The ANIMONCULORY visual overhaul is a list I wish I had when I first got into modding. Obviously I think mod lists are great, but of course the one downside is that it's made with someone else's vision in mind, so even if you find a list that seems perfect for you, there may be one or two mods that you just wish weren't in there. And this is what's so great about this overhaul, as it gets all of the fixes and graphics out of the way, so you can get to modding in the gameplay features that you want. It really looks and performs great, making it the perfect canvas for you to work with, and it's especially a great starting point for those who are wanting to get into Skyrim modding. Also, I realise I've mostly been talking about people who want to add mods, but this list works perfectly on its own, so if you're looking for an almost completely vanilla version of Skyrim, which looks like a modern game, then this is absolutely a great list to play. I can see this list being appealing to a lot of people, and if you're someone who's undecided on heavily modding their Skyrim, then I fully recommend giving this a try. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like, as it helps the channel grow. I also have a Twitch where I'll sometimes stream vibing games, and a Discord if you want to talk about mod stuff or anything else. And a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters, Emperador Wolf, Jack Ma, Michael Eric and Christian Hell. I say this every time, but I'll never say it enough. I am just so appreciative of everything you've given me, and it really helps the channel. Just thank you so much. And farewell everyone.